Imagine a light so powerful, it could turn back time. They say it heals your skin, revives your cells, supercharges your mitochondria, melts fat, even boosts your libido. All you have to do is stand in front of it. Celebrities do it, athletes swear by it, and influencers are building entire rooms in their homes just to bask in it. It's called red light therapy, or in the language of science, photobiomodulation, a light that promises to heal, regenerate, and rejuvenate without a scalpel, without a pill, without effort. But here's the question. If red light truly rewinds aging, why isn't NASA using it to keep astronauts forever young? Our story begins not in Beverly Hills, but in outer space. In the early 1990s, NASA scientists were trying to solve a strange problem. Astronauts in zero gravity lost muscle, bone mass, and their wounds healed poorly. On Earth, doctors had begun experimenting with low-level laser therapy, beams of red and near-infrared light that seemed to speed up tissue repair. So NASA tested whether similar light could help astronauts heal in orbit. They discovered that specific wavelengths around 630, 660, 850 nanometers could penetrate human tissue and stimulate the energy factories inside our cells, the mitochondria. Inside those mitochondria, an enzyme called cytochrome C oxidase absorbs red light photons, and that absorption triggers more ATP production, cellular energy. More ATP equals faster repair, lower inflammation, better survival. In one NASA-funded study, light exposure increased cell growth 150 to 200% faster in fibroblast cultures. Later trials showed improved wound healing in animals and in chemotherapy patients. This was real science, rigorous, controlled, peer-reviewed. But there was a catch. These effects only occurred within a narrow biological window, what researchers called a biphasic dose response. Too little light, nothing happens. Too much, and you stress the cells. So just like medication, the right dose heals, the wrong dose harms. So the researchers began quantifying light like a drug. They measured it in irradiance, power per unit area in milliwatts per square centimeter, and fluence, the total energy delivered in joules per square centimeters. Clinical devices delivered roughly 50 to 150 milliwatts per centimeter squared, achieving a dose of 3 to 10 joules per centimeter squared over a few minutes. To put that into perspective, a bright red traffic light emits around 1 to 2 milliwatts per centimeter squared at a distance far below therapeutic levels. A household LED bulb painted red might deliver less than 0.5 milliwatts per centimeter squared. That means the typical NASA-calibrated medical panel is dozens of times more intense, bright enough that you wouldn't comfortably stare at it without goggles. NASA's work was never meant for beauty. It was medicine, measured, dosed, and precise. Fast forward 2 decades, and what started as space medicine has become a wellness religion. Red light panels glow across Beverly Hills, mansions, and luxury gyms. There are red light saunas, infrared yoga classes, even full body pods promising to detoxify at the speed of light. Celebrities like Kourtney Kardashian, who said on Push that she uses red light to support collagen and sleep, and Kate Hudson, who reportedly uses it for recovery and mood, have helped make it mainstream. Paris Hilton even built a 50,000 red light chamber in her home spa. Biohackers like Ben Greenfield and Andrew Huberman's followers sit shirtless in front of panels, claiming benefits from hormone balance to cognitive enhancement. Some enthusiasts even exercise inside their panels, claiming it doubles fat burn and muscle recovery. The claims are dazzling. Reverse aging, boost testosterone, melt fat, grow hair, treat depression, tighter skin, cure inflammation. It sounds like sunlight, stem cells, and Photoshop rolled into one glowing miracle. But how much of it actually holds up to scientific scrutiny? Let's separate the light from the heat. Yes, photobiomodulation is real. Yes, it can help with certain things, but those NASA and clinical-grade results came from devices with verified wavelengths and power densities, tested in labs and hospitals. Now contrast that with what most people use. Spa pods, at-home masks, handheld panels that look like props from a sci-fi movie, but emit power levels closer to fairy lights. Here's what the science actually says. Clinical proven or promising. Skin rejuvenation. Studies in lasers in Surgery and Medicine, 2014, and Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology, 2020, showed red and near-infrared light at 630 to 850 nanometers at 50 to 100 milliwatts per centimeter square do increase collagen density, improve wrinkles, and reduce inflammation after consistent use for 8 to 12 weeks. Wound healing and pain relief. Meta-analysis confirm benefits when dose and wavelength are within that narrow window. Hair growth. 650 nanometer laser caps show mild to moderate efficacy in androgenetic alopecia. Now here's where it's weak or unproven. Fat loss, hormone boosting, cognitive enhancement, systemic longevity claims are either anecdotal or based on small, poorly replicated studies. Many detox or whole-body anti-aging assertions rely on infrared heat, not photobiomodulation, confusing two very different mechanisms. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you can stare directly at your spa's red light without goggles, it's probably not powerful enough to do anything at a cellular level. Why? Because therapeutic irradiance, say 60 milliwatts per centimeter square, would be uncomfortably bright. Medical-grade panels warn about eye exposure and almost always require protection. Spa devices average 5 to 15 milliwatts per centimeter squared, and that's 1/10 the power needed to reach therapeutic thresholds. No wonder they can advertise completely eye-safe. The second giveaway is session time. If a spa recommends 30 to 45 minutes to get a glow, they are compensating for low power. A medical-grade panel achieves the same dose in 10 to 15 minutes. And the third clue, vagueness. No mention of wavelength. No unit for irradiance, just red light and rejuvenation. In medicine, ambiguity means marketing. Even amongst proper devices, more is not always better. Photobiomodulation follows a biphasic curve. Small doses stimulate and high doses inhibit. At the right energy, about 3 to 10 joules per centimeter square, the cells upregulate antioxidants and collagen. Above 50 joules per centimeter square, ATP production actually drops. Oxidative stress rises and the benefits vanish. So here's the part most people get wrong. Even if you own a powerful medical-grade panel, longer is not better. Beyond that sweet spot, cells shift from repair mode to defense mode. The mitochondria start generating reactive oxygen species instead of energy, and inflammatory pathways activate. In short, you can literally reverse the benefit by overexposing yourself. That's why credible clinics calibrate distance, time, and dose. For example, a 660 nanometer LED at 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared held 15 centimeters away for 90 seconds delivers 9 joules per centimeter squared, and that's a sweet spot dose. But a home user standing a meter from a weak panel, they might be getting 0.5 joules per centimeter squared, basically nothing. So the myth isn't that red light works, it's just that any red light works. What began as a medical tool for astronauts and wound patients was soon adopted by the wellness industry. Manufacturers realized they could market NASA-inspired technology without matching NASA's data. By lowering the power, removing the regulation, and adding a celebrity, they turned science into lifestyle. It's the same playbook we've seen before, from cryotherapies to NAD drips. Take something born in a lab, soften it for Instagram, and sell the fantasy of control over aging. And it worked, because the idea of healing with light taps into something primal, the sun, the warmth, the divine glow of life. But the laws of biology don't bend to branding. Mitochondria don't care if your panel is luxury or group approved. They only care about photons per square centimeter. So where does that leave us? Red light therapy isn't snake oil. It's just misdosed. Used correctly, it can help skin health, reduce inflammation, and support recovery. Used carelessly, it's just decoration. Before you pay for a red light facial or install a glowing wall at home, ask 3 questions. What wavelength? Look for 630 to 670 or 810 to 850 nanometers. What power density? Well, anything greater or equal to 50 milliwatt per centimeter squared at a treatment distance. What dose? Target 3 to 10 joules per centimeter square per session. If they can't answer, they're selling ambience, not biology, because the difference between a NASA experiment and a neon selfie is measurement. We love the idea that light can heal, that something as gentle as a glow could undo decades of aging, and maybe someday we'll harness light that truly can. But until then, remember, it's not the color that changes you, it's the calibration.